Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa and this is Return to Love. So I just had to come on here and record because I promised myself consistency, and as much as you can see that I'm literally just me, the wall, and a camera today, it'll still be good. So I want to talk about imposter syndrome. So in the previous video, I started talking about imposter syndrome. But to be honest, looking back at the video, I realized I didn't really tie it into the topic so much. So I just want to do that today. So I just want to talk about how much imposter syndrome has affected me, my journey on this channel, and just my personal journey so much. So imposter syndrome is basically the temptation that we feel to be like somebody else, be anything but ourselves sometimes. So like when you start social media, like you come on YouTube or whichever platform you choose, it becomes really difficult to come on as your authentic self. Well, that was my experience, and I hear a lot of other people talking about it, so I guess it's quite common that it is so easy to just try and look and act like the influencers that you follow personally. So, if you see people doing certain things in your niche, you just try to do it the same way because apparently it works for them, and you just want your channel to grow and to also be like successful, and you want to reach a larger audience, and it just becomes very tempting to do what others do. And I just want to stick a pin here. There's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with not inventing the wheel. You don't have to be Columbus. You don't have to discover America or anything like that. You just have to learn how to learn without becoming the same thing that the other person is. We have to learn methods and ways that work without trying to change who we are authentically are. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's really difficult, especially as I went through postpartum depression and all of that. I completely felt like I lost my sense of identity. So I was already in a position where I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know who I was. I just felt so out of touch with myself. And it was like I was in survival mode. I'm walking around, but it's like my spirit left my body and I'm having an out of body experience. This is how I felt. Like my life is happening and I'm just not part of it. That's the best way I can explain what postpartum depression, in a sense, felt like when it relates to loss of identity. Your life is happening, everything is happening, but it feels like you lack control to control it. And everything is like an out of body experience, and it's all determined by external forces. So it was already difficult for me to show up as myself because I didn't know who I was. And that made it difficult because I've been on YouTube like for the last 8 months, almost 9 months, and I've been very inconsistent. And the main reason of my inconsistency has definitely been, the identity crisis, the imposter syndrome, just always focusing on what other influencers are doing and trying to see how I can do it, and just then still feeling uncomfortable with the idea because then you're thinking, I'm not going to do it as well as them, I'm not going to be as successful as them, nobody's going to care and watch my videos, and then you just don't post. That's what I was doing. I have a million ideas. Like if you watch my previous video, if you haven't, check it out. But in my previous video, I kind of spoke about all the different areas, like my 5 main areas of returning to love that I want to focus on: family, postpartum, parenting, relationship, physical health, godliness, faith journey, everything. And I just didn't know how to incorporate all of that because it's like almost five niches, and it's really difficult to try to incorporate all of that. And every time I had to choose one, it felt like I wasn't showing up as my authentic self, which is pretty crazy because I'm all of those people. Now I sound like a psycho, but you know what I mean, right? I have all these sides to me, let me put it that way. I have all these sides to me that have affected my life and that I'm very passionate about, but I just didn't know how to bring it across or how to schedule it. And like I said, I was already going through an identity crisis. I already didn't know who I was. So every time I look back at one of those videos, I'm like, literally every single time I would be like, who's that girl? Who's that? I did not recognize myself. The light in my eyes is completely dimmed. I still look at myself and I'm like, girl, is that you? But it was so uncomfortable to watch the dead version of myself. Let me just put it that way. It was really uncomfortable for me to watch the dead person that was coming on the screen. And it made me more aware of how others also are probably viewing me and perceiving me, and the energy I give out, because it was very depressed, it was very down and out, it was just very dead, even if I say so myself. So it made me uncomfortable. I didn't want to post as much as I felt like I had a story to tell that needed to be heard, that there are multiple lives that could be changed by sharing my story. I just felt so uncomfortable doing it. So I kept focusing on all the things that I was not, because they seem to be more attractive, because if you check my views, they suck. Yeah. And it felt like, nobody was watching my videos. I'm not growing. My channel is growing very slowly, and it was so discouraging. And I just kept thinking about, how can I make my videos look more like those of the big influencers, and how can I become more, hip, or, more like, more like them. And that's what imposter syndrome is all about. It creates this comparison where you are constantly comparing yourself with the other person that is also doing what you're doing, and always just finding shortages within yourself. Because like we said earlier, there's nothing wrong with learning. We all learn from each other, and I think that the main thing you should feel when you watch another influencer doing well is inspired. And I have to honestly say, I did feel inspired. I do feel inspired seeing really successful influencers in the niches that I like and stuff. But it also intimidated me at the same time. Like, I can't do that. I can't look so happy. I can't look as joyful as they're looking. I don't feel that way. And as much as I was trying to bring the energy, like bring like positive vibes, and to just look, interesting, and try to look so saucy and whatever, I just I was not in that mental space. And so it became impossible. Your vibe just doesn't lie. And however I felt was really coming through the camera. And that was like really embarrassing to me, because it was just really embarrassing to me, because I was like, oh my gosh, I look so dull. And that was not how I knew myself. So I just kept trying to look for ways to improve myself to come on screen looking more interesting, but I was doing things too superficially and shallow. And I've reached a point where I just want to start showing up. Yes, that's why it's me, the camera, and the wall today, because I had a crazy day, and at the end of the day, I just didn't want to do a setup to try and film anything or so. And I was like, no, you told yourself you're gonna start filming every day because you have a story to tell. I really want to do that. I want to stay true to my word. I realized lately that the influencers I follow most are Christian influencers. Yay! And I realized that what I love the most about them is the shine they have, the glow. There's this glow or this happiness about them. There's genuine happiness that just shines, this positivity, and it made me want that. And that's when I reached a point of saying, I have to do something to get that. I want to have that. I didn't want to have their lives. I didn't want to have, their personality. I just wanted to have the spark, the glow, the happiness. So I started thinking, where does it come from? And bingo, it comes from God. It comes from God. The glow, it just comes from God. You can't, fade that glow. And I just want to have the glow that starts from the inside and shines outside. So I just had to sit with myself, I just had to sit with myself and think about why I don't have the glow. Why do I look sad? Why do I look depressed? Why do I look angry or just with bad energy? Why do I just not look happy and bubbly or anything like that? And I realize it's because I don't have glow. The glow that comes from being in a relationship with God. You can't get it by just going to church, because I go to church basically every week. And you can't get it by just only being involved in church ministry, because I am, and I don't feel like I have a glow. I still always look tired and drained and exhausted and tired. Did I say tired? And just out of it and over it. And no, that's not how I want to present myself. I feel like as a Christian, it is my responsibility to show God's light and His love to the world, even the people around me. They're my first, ministry as a mom. My first responsibility is to shine God's light to my child. If I'm always angry, if I'm always short tempered and impatient and looking sad or depressed, I'm having a hard time doing that, because, yes, God's light can shine through the small little cracks that I leave, but that is not what I want to be. I want to have the fullness of joy that He promised to His children. And I just want to have the light that He gives when, you trust Him and follow Him. So that's why I came up with the idea to start a 21-day challenge where I challenge myself to show up again, to show up to meetings with God, like personal meetings. I'm talking about worship, devotion at 5 a.m. When my alarm clock goes 5 a.m. to not snooze it and actually get up. I want to take you guys along on my 21-day journey, and I just want you guys to see me go from this to happy and just really just have the glow and the happiness, and just really be inspired that anybody who's going through a dark, a low time, anybody that's struggling to find their light again, anybody who is really struggling in their relationship with God, anybody who feels hopeless, depressed, scared, tired, at the end of the road, anybody who feels suicidal and has just given up, anybody who wants God but feels like they can't have Him, this 21-day challenge is for you. This 21-day challenge is to restore your relationship with God. And day one starts tomorrow. And as we start, no matter when you're seeing this video, you can always start your day as day one and then just hop on the challenge. So on this challenge, I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. I'm going to be trying to film it. I don't know how I'm going to film them kind of things. I don't know. How am I going to film when I get up? But I'm going to try. And I'm going to share the devotions I do every single day. And I'm going to try to reconnect with God, because He's here. He wants to be a part of my life. I'm the one who has been keeping Him out unknowingly, knowingly, unknowingly, and I just need a transformation. I am sick and tired. I am sick and tired of feeling tired. Sick and tired of feeling tired. I'm sick and tired to feel like I'm having an out of body experience. I'm sick and tired of feeling like I don't have control of my life, and I just want to do the things that I was created for. And I feel Like I was created for such a time as this. So I'm really excited. I really hope that I can inspire millions of people to reconnect with God and to really return to love, to return to the origin of love itself, and see how all the other things will be given unto you. I just want to be a testimony. I want to be proof. I want to be live proof that transformation can happen and that God can do it and that He can do it in a short period of time. He can do it in a day. I'm just taking 21 days because that's the amount of time that it takes to create new habits. And I want this to become a habit that becomes a part of my life and that something that I just take with me forever. Spending time with God, being in His presence, being transformed by Him, and all of that. So I don't know how long this video is, but I hope you watched all of it. I hope you want to join the challenge, and I see you tomorrow. Bye.